Police arrested a 20-year-old man on suspicion of murdering his 35-year-old girlfriend. The Secretary for Labour and Welfare, Chris Soon, explains the upcoming ban on smoking in construction sites. Good evening, welcome to TVB News. Police have arrested a 20-year-old man on suspicion of murdering his 35-year-old girlfriend and hiding the body between the bed frame and the mattress in December. The suspect is scheduled to appear at Kwun Tong Magistrates Court on Monday. Mimo Sengai reports.
The 28-year-old suspect was taken away from Kowloon East Regional Headquarters on Saturday afternoon. He is of African descent but holds a Hong Kong ID card. The incident happened on December 29, 2025. Police received a report on that day saying a 35-year-old woman with suicidal tendencies went missing. Officers arrived at her boyfriend's unit in the early hours of the 30th in Nautau Kos Lok Hwa South Estate, where the woman was last seen before her disappearance. After breaking into the unit, it did not appear to the authorities that a murder had happened because no sign of struggle was spotted. But some dead bodies of 3 dogs and 1 cat were found. It was after another search that led the force to discover the woman's body, which was hidden between the mattress and the bed frame. Speaking to the media on Saturday, the police said the woman's head had suffered severe injuries leading to excessive blood loss. Her body was also covered with bruises. The force believed that the motive of the murder was fueled by relationship issues. Authorities said the man fled to the mainland on the night of the 29th after the murder. He was arrested on the mainland before being transferred to Hong Kong law enforcement at Shenzhou Bayport on Friday afternoon. The man faces 1 count of murder. Memos 9, TVB News.
Chief Secretary for Administration Eric Chan said the government will introduce lists to scrutinize the past performance of contractor companies. This came as part of the authorities' measures to combat bid rigging. To tackle the issue of bid rigging, the government plans to set up a scrutinized list for contractors and engineering consultants. The lists will probe into the past performance of the companies. Authorities will also request the firm's background information from the police and ICAC. Eric Chan said the purpose of the measure is to prevent companies who have been investigated to join bidding. The government aims to introduce a smoking ban at construction sites by amending the law as early as the beginning of next month. The Secretary for Labour and Welfare, Chris Soon, said contractors may face prosecution if they have not made efforts to curb smoking on construction sites. Samantha Lee has more.
As concerns mount over construction site safety after the deadly fire at Wan Phu Court, there have been growing calls for smoking bans on the sites. Speaking on a radio program, Secretary for Labour and Welfare Chris Soon said an amendment bill to the construction site safety regulations will be submitted to the Legislative Council early next month at the soonest. If approved, workers caught smoking on construction sites will face a maximum fine of $150,000, while their employers are liable of up to $400,000. Soon said during inspections by officials, if no one is seen smoking but cigarette butts are scattered around or workers are seen carrying cigarettes, officials will assess if anti-smoking measures are in place. They include putting up no smoking signs, installation of CCTV cameras, and establishing cigarette drop-off areas at entrances and exits of the site. Soon said if employers of construction workers fail in their part in preventing smoking at construction sites, they could face prosecution. In light of recent fatal industrial accidents, the Labour chief vowed to update guidelines for mobile elevating work platforms as soon as possible. Meanwhile, the mandatory reporting of child abuse ordinance will take effect next Tuesday, under which 25 categories of specified professionals in sectors such as social work, education, and healthcare must report suspected serious child abuse cases. Soon said he anticipates more cases will be coming to light, and the government will offer temporary shelters to abused children. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Deputy British Prime Minister David Lammy was in Kiev Friday to mark the first anniversary of the 100-year partnership between Britain and Ukraine. To coincide with the anniversary, Lammy announced a further £20 million package, which would help pay for repairs to Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Tracy Furness has more.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met with UK Deputy Prime Minister David Lammy and sat down for a meeting alongside members of the UK delegation. Zelensky thanking them for their support.
Today's your decision about energy package is very important. Thank you so much. Shortly, my team briefed me. Yeah, this is very important. Under so many missiles attacks each day, attacks on our energy sector. Any support is big support.
Lammy also attended an event with Ukrainian officials in Kyiv to mark the first anniversary of the 100-year partnership agreement between Britain and Ukraine.
In the United Kingdom, whatever your political persuasion, whatever your political party, you stand with Ukraine. And that is united, and it's remained the position now for several years, and I'm very proud of that. And it is because of that that I can say with great confidence that the UK is determined that this partnership goes beyond just one generation or two generations.
This, as President Zelensky said in his nightly address, that a Ukrainian delegation was on their way to the United States for the next round of negotiations aimed at ending the war with Russia. Zelensky said air defense remains a critical priority from its allies, with Ukrainian intelligence suggesting Russia was preparing massive new attacks against its energy infrastructure. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
And still ahead, Donald Trump suggests he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the US controlling Greenland. And TVB News speaks to Russians in Moscow about how they feel about the war with Ukraine. Welcome back. US President Donald Trump has suggested that he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the US controlling Greenland. Trump for months has insisted that the US should control Greenland, adding earlier this week that anything less than the Arctic island being in US hands would be unacceptable. An Inuit leader in Greenland has responded to Trump's comments by saying there is no such thing as a better colonizer. Tracy Furness reports.
Trump has turned Greenland into a geopolitical hotspot with his desire to own it and suggestions that the US could take it by force. Talking to reporters on the South Lawn of the White House, the US president said the US needed Greenland for national security.
NATO has been dealing with us on Greenland. We need Greenland for national security very badly. If we don't have it, we have a big hole in national security, especially when it comes to what we're doing in terms of the Golden Dome and all of the other things. We have a lot of investments in military. We have got the strongest military in the world, and it's only getting stronger.
What do you intend to do?
Trump has also suggested that he may punish countries with tariffs if they don't back the US controlling Greenland. Speaking at a press conference with European Parliament President Roberta Metsola, the Austrian Chancellor Dr. Christian Stocker described recent developments around Greenland as highly troublesome and worrying. Stocker added that his country remains in solidarity with Denmark. Greenland is a self-governing territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. Austria is a neutral country and not a member of NATO. This as Greenlanders responded to Trump.
First of all, that we think that there's simply no such thing as a better colonizer. This is clearly, formulated in a way that gives us a clear picture of how, the U.S. administration views the people of Greenland, how the U.S. administration views peoples, indigenous peoples, and peoples that are few in numbers. And we have been rejecting that premise, that you can buy and sell peoples.
Tracy Furness, TVB News.
The war between Russia and Ukraine is nearing a 4-year mark and sees no sign of abating. Some Russians say they're not deterred by the Western sanctions, but indicated they have become more wary of the US in the wake of the situation in Venezuela. Festive vibe is in the air as Moscow gears up for the Orthodox Christmas and New Year in January. American fast food chains and cafes were retreating from the city. Many were replaced by local brands with similar flavors and styles. A housewife named Natalia said the war in Ukraine has led to consistently soaring prices. It is still quite expensive to cook a meal, even though Russia's inflation fell back last year, Natalia said, pointing out that a kilogram of beef now costs about 900 rubles, or 90 Hong Kong dollars, which is 2 times dearer than 4 years ago. Alexei Gorbelyov, associate professor of the Institute of Asia and Africa Studies of Moscow State University, said every time he opens the TV, he's always deeply worried about his friends on the battlefield or living in Ukraine, noting he doesn't want any more people to get killed or suffer from the war. He brought about his special interest in Chinese kung fu, something that could help relieve the tedium of his life.
Yes.
Alexei's martial arts instructor said he hopes leaders around the globe to study kung fu, adding the exercise's ultimate objective is not about destroying, but rather bringing peace and tranquility through dissolving desires. Meanwhile, many Moscow residents are growing increasingly skeptical of the prospect of the ceasefire with Ukraine, particularly after the US's capture of Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Alexei raised questions about the commitments pledged by Western countries, saying the US and the UK have made a huge profit out of their provision of funds and ammunition for the war. Natalia says peace will come soon, but not by way of negotiations with Europe or the US. It lies in the hands of the Russian people, she said. China's Shenzhou 20 crew met with the public for the first time on Friday after they returned from space. The crew returned from space in last November, but their return was delayed by some triangular-shaped cracks found on the window of their Shenzhou 20 spaceship. In a Beijing press conference, the 3-member crew said the cracks were spotted on the outermost layer of a viewpoint window and had penetrated it. Despite that, the team said the cracks would not affect the safety of their in-orbit stay. After an extra week of staying in space, the Shenzhou 20 crew returned to the ground by the Shenzhou 21 spaceship. More than 1,000 young runners went to the Kai Tak Sports Park this morning to participate in the first ever youth run event held ahead of tomorrow's Hong Kong Marathon. Samantha Lee takes us a closer look.
Tiny in physique, but big in enthusiasm. Youngsters in Hong Kong now has the chance to display some marathon spirit. Are you ready? A burst of energy as these young athletes surge forward with every ounce of strength. Targeting youths aged between 10 and 15, the youth run is held a day before the main Hong Kong Marathon, with an aim to leading young people to discover the joy of long-distance running. Starting and ending at the Kai Tak Youth Sports Ground, the 2-kilometer race passes through the Central Square and the Kai Tak Stadium. The runners start off in 5 groups, while no official rankings are kept, but finishing first still feels like a victory. Being the first to cross the line, the youth says he is satisfied with his performance, and it is fantastic to have family support. I am not quite happy with my time. I slowed down at some points in the middle because of the heat from the sun. I think I may need more training, said this runner. A marathon won't be complete without creative costume. 2 bananas also completed the run. I am a banana today, so I won't be peeling away too fast, this participant joked. Parents joined too, taking on the role of personal cheerleaders. Mr. Mack believes running in a group pushes them further than running alone. He added he now has no excuse to avoid running after seeing those youth people's determination. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
The Hong Kong Marathon is taking place tomorrow, with participating runners intensifying their training. Some restaurants are taking the opportunity to launch meals suitable for runners to attract this particular customer base. Hotels have reportedly raised room rates by 50% on the night before the race, yet still fully booked. Rachel Un has more.
Financial elites and professionals change into sportswear after work, instantly transforming into runners. They are members of a running club, most of whom are participating in the Hong Kong Marathon this year. Every Wednesday, they gather for training, stopping by this restaurant at the pier to replenish their energy when drained. Organizers of the marathon have launched a campaign aiming at supporting small eateries, with over 700 restaurants across Hong Kong offering discounts to runners. Bert, the owner of this izakaya, specially prepared a slow-cooked chicken breast salad to help runners replenish protein. She pointed out that the increase in runners contributes to an extra round of business before closing. At this nearby pizza store, runners now account for 40% of the total business. The store owner noted that the increase in customers will lead to more orders for catering and other services in the future.
So being a diverse customer base, it is important because it helps us to let the word spread out among more people.
With over 150 small shops located on popular running routes, exclusive marathon-themed dining options will also be provided to fuel and cheer on the athletes. Among the 74,000 participants in this year's event, 25% are from mainland China or overseas. A hotel located at the starting point of the full and half marathons in Tsim Sha Tsui saw a 15% increase in room rates on the night before the race, and is currently fully booked. Alan Chan, Chief Operations Officer of the Mirama Group, believes that the marathon centers on the status as a premier global sporting event. The company will continue leveraging different types of projects and activities to attract various sources of guests. He highlighted that promoting major events in Hong Kong has a noteworthy effect on attracting visitors. Rachel Ng, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.